Hello and welcome to a very festive episode of the Testing Peers. I'm joined as always by the usual four naughty elves. Mr. Armstrong.
Hi.
Russell.
Ho, ho, ho.
David.
Hello.
And I'm Simon. As mentioned, this is our festive episode tonight, so we're going to be talking about festive tales of 2022 and maybe our thoughts of 2023 as well. But before we start, we are delighted that Saffron QA continue to sponsor this podcast. Saffron QA is a specialist in testing recruitment, offering permanent, contract, and a newly developed retained recruitment service. More details can be found in the show notes, or please reach out to Ben directly to find out more. You may hear some other familiar voices tonight. We've got some messages from some of our friends, so look out for those as well. But as always, let's go over to Mr. Banter Claus himself.
Ho, ho, ho. That sounded jolly, didn't it?
It
I'm
did.
the only one, by the way, listener, that's actually wearing a Christmas jumper. So,
Podcast gold because we can all see it.
bunch of Scrooges here.
You're lying. We're all in our Santa hats. We've got jumpers on. We're eating mince pies. You have no idea.
Yeah, your credibility is dying. So, I was thinking one of the key parts of Christmas for me is a Christmas cracker. And within a Christmas cracker is one of the most terrible jokes you could possibly have. And I wondered if you chaps would care to share any terrible joke. It could be a dad joke, a cracker joke, anything that you know is terrible, but still secretly, deep down inside, makes you laugh.
Why is it when you ask me that kind of question, all the jokes that come to mind are not clean or PC? So I will try.
You're a terrible father.
I'm a terrible person. The only joke I can think of off the top of my head, and it's one of my son's favourites, is what's brown and sticky? A stick. There we go. That's about as good as it gets.
Oh, go on. What do reindeers hang on their Christmas tree? Ornaments.
Well, I don't have a particular Christmas one in my head, but one of my favourite jokes is I'll need a participant. So Simon, I'm going to nominate you for this. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting how?
Moo.
Terrible. It brings back memories because I used to have I got given a book when I was a kid of the 100 world's worst jokes or whatever it was. And I thought they were the funniest things ever, but apparently they were the worst jokes in the world.
What's a sheep's favourite sport?
Badminton.
You're the writer of the bad jokes here.
Podcast goal. This is probably the worst banter we've ever done, isn't it? Oh, here we go. I'll do this as the last one. What's the best Christmas present in the world? A broken drum. You just can't beat it.
Oh, that was really bad. Let's not do a joke segment again. My goodness.
Merry Christmas, everyone. My name is Beth Marshall. For what it's worth, I am on Twitter at Beth_askher. I'm also on LinkedIn. You'll find me as Beth Marshall, and my handle on YouTube is Beth Marshall as well. Nice and easy. When I do my Christmas wrapping or deck the halls, all I want for Christmas is to listen to Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson. Christmas hasn't started in the Marshall household until we put the decorations up and dance around the kitchen to that absolute belter. If you have yet to hear it, 'cause it's quite a recent Christmas song, please pop it on. It's super festive and positive and awesome and Christmassy and great. My testing festive wish for this year is that you've been paying attention long enough to find the 5 Christmas songs that I've just mentioned. I promise they're there. Go on, rewind it and let us know if you find them. Cheers to one and all the best to testers everywhere for a wonderful 2023. Bye.
Okay, well, we'll move on. Let's move on to some festive Christmas Carol-esque past, present, and future. So, the Ghost of Christmas Past, memories of Christmas. What do you have? They could be testing ones, they could be work-related ones, maybe Secret Santa, who knows?
I think of a buffet, if that makes any sense, where everyone would bring their own stuff in, because it used to be a tradition at one of my former employers, where everyone would kind of come in and bring in some food, and they would put some money aside. Everyone would have to do a donation, and that money would go to charity. And it was just a good team building, bonding, laugh, prize for the best bit of food, prize for the worst bit of food. Someone brought in some Greggs sausage rolls once.
Were they the vegan ones or
No,
the normal
non-vegan. And it was just a good kind of Christmas get together fun, the wind down of work. It was done a week before Christmas, so lots of people were still around stuff, and it was just good.
Yeah, it reminds me of school, school parties where you all had to bring your plate of sausages and sticks of them. And actually, I remember at the place where Chris and I used to work, we did that one Christmas, didn't we? We had a Python lunch once a month, or whatever. And
We didn't eat a Python listener. We were in Python club.
Yes.
And then we ate.
And then we ate. And everyone bought, I remember someone brought in a really nice curry or
Python the coding, or because
yes,
you all like
Python
Pythons?
No.
Okay.
It's Python
just check.
coding. Yeah. My memory is really just the sort of excitement of Christmas. So I always like, Christmas Eve comes, and I think that there's that sort of expectation of, everyone's in a good mood. People are it's possibly a slightly shorter day, and everyone's full of the Christmas spirit, and it's the expectation of something good that's happening. So I think that's a really good memory.
Yeah, I would go with something. I've got several I could talk through, but I'd go with a similar one to David there. And in one of my roles, everyone used to like trying to work on Christmas Day, because they knew, that you'd get an email about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock saying, okay, you can go home now. And one year we didn't get the email at 11 o'clock, but we all went to the pub anyway. And then we all had our phones out checking for about 2 o'clock when the email finally came out to say, you can go home now. And we just stayed in the pub. So it was good fun.
Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve. Sorry, did I say Christmas Day? Did I say Christmas Day?
Christmas
Sorry.
Day, yeah.
I'm all over the place tonight. Apologies. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve. And also another year, I remember probably my fondest memory was actually being out in Cork with my team out there. Not Christmas Eve, but in December for our Christmas meal. And then we ended up going go-karting outdoors in Cork in December. It was great fun, but I think we were all thoroughly frozen to the bone by the end of it. But it was nice sort of team bonding over the festive period, so that was really good. And the pubs in Ireland have a very different feel about them as well, so it was very jovial.
Hey, wish you a happy end of year celebrations. My name is Emna Ayadi. You can find me on LinkedIn, Emna Ayadi, or on my website, emnaayadi.com. I'd like in this particular episode to talk about my favorite snacks during this festive period. And by the way, I got the chance to visit 3 different Christmas markets in 3 different cities around Europe, which means that I got the chance to eat Lebkuchen and also Kirtos. So my challenge for you, from which cities belong these snacks? And at the end, I wish you a wonderful new year 2023, full of joy and success.
I remember we finished at lunchtime and I was driving home for Christmas, and the song came on and it was snowing at the same time. And it was just sort of the perfect sort of start to Christmas.
It doesn't really snow at Christmas too often these days, does it?
No.
We're snowed in now.
We are very not. It's just black ice here. So I was thinking back to my last office-based job, and a tradition that I started when we worked there was all the testers, last day that we were all going to be in the office together, we would walk over to our local coffee shop, which was a Costa, I think, and we'd all get a coffee and cake and all these lovely things, expensed, delightful stuff, and we would just sit and sort of think about our last year, and we sort of talk about what we might like to do together, either as teams or as individuals and things. And I can remember saying that I had desires to do more test mobs, and I wanted to speak in conferences and stuff, and other folks expressed desires to do other new and exciting things. It was kind of quite nice to just sort of sit there and sort of review as a team in a really casual, like laid back environment about like our last year, and sort of be quite proud of what we'd achieved that year. It was quite a nice, calm way of doing it.
Yeah, I think always getting those time to reflect on stuff you've done over the year is always very positive, both from a team perspective or from a personal reflection as well. And that's something I'm certainly trying to instill in my team at the moment, is let's just spend some time the next week or so actually sitting down and just thinking about all the positive stuff that's gone on this year that we've achieved, etc., etc. So yeah, it's good sometimes to reflect.
So, Christmas 2022. What's up?
I was just going to say, it feels like 2022 is finished already. Wow. Just crazy fast. Where's this year gone?
What would you say your biggest successes or highlight this year has been?
I think mine was getting to speak on stage at Eurostar. That was kind of like a little Chris in the 2013 dream to be able to go and speak on that stage. So that was pretty exciting. And also it was my first in-person conference since the pandemic. So I was well happy to be around my people again. It was wonderful.
So sort of highlights for me, I've got a couple. So meeting Sane and giving a talk at Build Tech this year in the Netherlands was a highlight, although due to contractual reasons the video does not actually exist, so no one can actually view it, but that's a different story. But it was great fun doing it. The second thing is the fact that I basically got through the year. There was a time when I was line managing 30 people, which even the company recognized was too many, and there were times when cracks were showing, but I've got through it, and I'm now sharing my group with others. And it's a relief to finish the year.
I think there's two things for me. One is the talks I've done this year. One was the opening keynote at the testing forum back in March. That was my first sort of keynote as such. And then being able to be on stage at Test Bash UK, which was an incredible conference. As far as testing conferences, I've not been to one that's matched that, as far as the community, the intensity, the amount of choice of things to do, and the fear of missing out, even though you're attending the
best Test Bash ever, that one, my friend.
Yeah, I would agree. And to be one of the speakers on stage was just incredible. And how you looked after as a speaker as well by MOT it was, can't talk highly enough about it. And the other thing is just this year being my first year as a head of QE, head of tests, having the support from people inside and outside of the company to grow what I've needed to grow, to build things in the way we've built it, to hire people that I never thought I'd get to work with. It's been an incredible year in a lot of ways.
Helping clients succeed, trying to make the impossible possible, growing a team at the same time. It's probably been my biggest kind of satisfaction, success, whatever you want to call it, happiness, is kind of juggling, building, growing something from quite small roots to something bigger, and at the same time working. I think this year it's physically been 2 clients mainly, but helping build a continuous delivery kind of atmosphere and educating people on that sort of model, and then also trying to educate someone who's very waterfall into why waterfall isn't so good. It's got pros, don't get me wrong, but it's also got some cons, and that's been quite good.
We failed miserably on meeting up this year as a group, but we will do bigger and better things in 2023.
Yes, gone.
Is that going to happen in 2023?
Let's talk about Christmas future, my friends.
I guess that's the big thing, isn't it? That we've talked about it a little bit this year. we probably need to think about how we pull our fingers out and actually try and make it happen if we want to make it happen.
Why doesn't our lovely listeners give us some feedback? Do you want it to happen? Tell us. It will help inspire us and encourage us.
Participation with the audience. Very good.
Hey everyone, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone in the testing community and beyond. I hope you've had a really prosperous 2022 and you have a fantastic 2023. My name is Steve Warburton. You can find me on Twitter at WarbsQA. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my thoughts around testing and quality in general. I think at this time of year, a Christmas memory for me is watching a film called The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I must have watched it every year with my family from as far back as I can remember. And I continue to do so now with my own small family. And it brings back many, many happy memories for sure. I think when I look forward into 2023, my wish inside the quality community and testing in general, I'd like to continue to see the rise of the quality engineer. You know, over the last decade in particular, the move from manual testing into automation testing, and testers in general have started to perhaps feel a little bit sort of less valuable. But the rise of the quality engineer is dispelling that myth, bringing quality, automation, testing, and looking at development all the way through the life cycle and beyond is something where I think value is coming to the front again for us. I'd like to see the quality engineer pushed continually in 2023 because for me, quality is absolutely everyone's responsibility, and this role is making sure that happens. Let's go in 2023. Merry Christmas.
Why do you think another testing conference is worth existing? What could we do that would be different, that would make you want to actually attend?
I think, we're obviously going to have to work on what niche we want to try and make with it. My initial thought was more of a testing quality leadership conference rather than a standard testing conference. And whether that has in itself a bit more of a niche, I don't know, but just thinking of general topics that we try and cover is a mix of leadership and testing. So maybe there's a market for us to look at that aspect, but I don't know whether another testing conference will get the attraction that we would like it to get.
Don't know if you don't try, though.
Exactly.
Look at this podcast.
Well, quite, yeah.
There is that. I mean, as long as we're realistic about our ambitions with it, it's not going to be a test bash. It's not going to be a Eurostar.
No.
But what is it? What are we aiming for?
We wanted to give ourselves accountability. That's how we kind of started, isn't it? So there's something we can do in the space that tries to give other people accountability to each other.
Yes,
that'll be quite a cool thing to achieve. And
I think that's a good point. Going back to our charter, going back to our roots as to why we formed in the first place, and building a conference around that ethos would be quite useful. The accountability thing of not having that colleague in your workplace that you feel you can bounce ideas off about testing. Well, come to PeersCon and we'll enable you.
Be here to listen.
An accountability for testers conference. That would be a fun game.
Does sound fun.
Could we use some of our links with the universities from the Maker Tester stuff to be able to get a venue?
Well, there is that, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Is obviously we managed to get to we managed to speak to 70 universities this year, and we managed to get talks with students at 2. I know some of our community have done more work. Sort of Steve has done some work with universities up in Manchester, I believe, and a few others as well. So there's definitely ways in, I think. I'd like to get the other 50 universities covered off as well, and as in reached out to and see if there's any interest there. But, we've got 2 that want annual talks now in Aston and Plymouth. So potentially we could use one of them. Plymouth might be a bit of a trek for most people, but
universities, though, traditionally have got transport links for people. If you go out of term time, they may well have availability of lecture theatres, which have got AV.
Yeah.
and all those sorts of other things. So there
Yeah,
is a
it's
useful.
definitely an opportunity. We can probably talk to our colleagues that are the lecturers that we've been dealing with to see what options we have there. Absolutely.
I think there's an expression up north: "Shy Ben's getting out."
Oh, what does that mean?
You don't ask, you don't get.
Oh,
So I understood one word out of four then.
I understood you, Russell. Don't worry.
Well, you've got a surname Armstrong. You should understand.
I've got a Geordie for a dad. It's fine. I understand. But yeah, no, I have that aspiration to do those things.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. My name is Dan Ashby, also known as Dan Ashby04 on Twitter or at Dan Ashby at mas.to on Mastodon. My favourite Christmas song is actually an amazing oldie, The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole, also known as Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Beautiful song. And my favourite Christmas movie, well, Home Alone is up there, but my ultimate top favourite Christmas movie is actually A Muppet's Christmas Carol. Watched that one and loved that movie as a kid, and love watching it with my kids now too. Now, my testing festive wish for 2023. This is a tough one. There's so many. I think my top one though is that testing as a craft is taken more seriously in companies. So we still see and hear every day that testers are battling to be included, and it's still got that air of uncertainty around stability within some organisations. So I wish for a bit more realisation on the impact and importance of testing and testers going forward. So fingers crossed. Merry Christmas all.
I was asked this question the other day, and I'm going to pose this question to you also, because I think it's an interesting question. And I think too often we are anchored in our responses. So I want to remove those anchors from you. And this is, if someone said to you today, next year, you can do exactly what you want to do in the testing industry, what does that actually look like? What's it comprised of? What do you actually do? Don't care about the job title. Put that in the bin. What do you do in that role? What brings you joy that you want to spend more time diving into in 2023? And don't anchor it with what you're already doing.
No, I'm not going to. I've got a clear thing that I've wanted to do for a long time, and well, there's two aspects to it. One is diving more into the coaching aspect and actually getting to do coaching with testers, building them up. But the second one is get into those universities and start from that level and actually be one of the people that are training testers, building them up into roles, and be on that side of the fence in some respects. So yeah, help bring the people in and train them up in the right mindset and coach them into being successful testers. I think that is something that still holds a lot of passion for me.
I think for me, there are two things. I'd like to actually talk at a conference. That would be a dream to do. And also, I just want to work with really forward-thinking or really good testers that are able to embrace new ideas, irrespective of the constraints of the company. If it was possible, just sort of to be able to do the right thing for the right job, basically, the right technology or the right tools and the right, in the right way. That would be my dream.
I guess not anchored by what I do already. It would be probably start a consultancy in helping realize the potential of test teams, not just testers, but basically testing functions, and help businesses see the value in it. What good quality or quality organization versus a testing function can bring, and how it can actually help their products become amazing, successful, loved, that sort of world. I would love to be kind of helping companies, I guess, realize the value. So Simon talked about people. I think that's a really good part of it as well, if I'm honest. And I don't think that's not included, but I think it's just making businesses see the value. It's where I would love to be kind of helping. So giving the capacity then for us to have testers doing the right thing.
So the
I'll
peers
join you, Russell.
consultancy.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Can we all join? Yeah.
There we go.
Need some seed funding, but yeah, once we
Yes,
get
we
that.
do.
Didn't give you what I
You didn't. Come on, Chris. You got to ask them the question. You're not answering them.
Pose a question, answer the damn thing. So my generic response to that question used to be, and while it still stands true, I don't think it's specific enough, was to say, I just want to work with people who want to do stuff better and want to let me be a part of that. And while that's valid, it doesn't say what I'm doing. And so I sort of thought back to one of the things that I have enjoyed in my role in 2022 the most, and I want to press into more going forwards. And that is talking about testing in an accessible way to anybody, be it pre-sales, marketing, educators, other testers, developers, and bringing it down to a level that people understand and appreciate, and making some sort of sense out of the kind of messed up variety of testing that we have at the moment, because we've already discussed semantics and approaches, and like it just isn't a standard thing, and it never will be, let's be honest. But to understand that that's okay, and context is everything, and actually if we can just understand and get ourselves on the same page about what we mean when we say these things, building quality culture, respect, driving to do things forward. I've said, like, when people talk about we're going to be working on the coolest tech stack ever, I'm like, if the people I'm working with aren't cool people, they're not trying to improve stuff, then I don't want to be a part of that, because it's the people that drive forward these things. And I care deeply about people being bought into what they are doing. And so that can be anybody. If you're working for an organization and you were talking quality, do people know what that means? Is what I'm doing what I say I do? Got opinions on thought leadership and stuff. We'll share that in the future. But I really care about like credibility and integrity and consistency and pushing forward those things to improve stuff. And if there's jobs that involve that, that's jobs that I want to be a part of to help shape and drive forward.
I think you can join my consultancy as well, Kristen.
Yeah, I think all four of us could do something good here. Maybe that's a 2024's aspiration.
Let's see how we get the funding in 2023.
Let's get the conference off the ground, and let's see how much of a success or not that is.
It might be a recession to ride as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And let's see. I think it's all in our blood now that we want to do something like that. So, I mean,
change the world, guys. Change the world. So, what else does the future hold for us, I guess? Or what else do we desire?
So, for the podcast itself, I was wondering, what do we see as the podcast growth? I mean, listeners give us your feedback, but I think it's really added a new dimension to the podcast by having different people joining the discussions, and not having our same four boring voices every week or every other week.
Can I add to that actually often the extra collaborators come up with their own ideas for topics to actually discuss.
Yeah.
So actually they have immediate buy-in. So rather than us sort of offering or suggesting suggestions, they have most recently come up with their own ideas, which have been really refreshing.
And in the ones that I've joined, the special guest has been the organizer of the talk as well. So they've come with their own agenda, and they've structured things, and call out to Beth specifically, who's
that's Beth, then.
spoken to us beforehand about what she wants to talk about, and it's just it has brought a new dimension. It's not that we've got bored or sick of each other with talking, but it is meaning that we can be more flexible with ensuring that we record most weeks.
It's been forced on us by people not having the availability of time rather than necessity.
It's actually, I like the dynamic shift. I like hearing more voices.
More diverse as well, let's face it. We are
it increases our non-white middle-aged British men diversity.
Yes, it does. Definitely does.
But yeah, no, I think there's more we can do. I think collaboration is stuff I think we've all talked about. I think we'd like to do more. I would like for life to feel less like it's in flux. If we could all be if we could like do, I don't know, a year or two when we don't have to move house or jobs where we're all feeling quite settled. I don't know if that's ever going to happen in our lives.
To be fair, I've not moved jobs since we started the podcast.
You did move
house.
No,
actually.
I have moved house.
David has been.
I haven't moved anything. No,
he's Mr. Consistent.
I think, yeah. I think there will be a time when I think we'll all be settled in some respects, and we can put the headspace back into this full time. But I think we've done a great job this year in keeping it going. Yes, we missed one episode, and yes, we were late with one, but we've released 69 episodes now.
Well, this will be the 70th.
70th. So I mean, that's pretty good going.
Who would have thought we'd done 70? But
I know. And we're still collaborating, and we still enjoy each other's company.
We're still talking.
Which, as far as like enduring friendships of folks that have met once as a group ever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not bad, is it?
No.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. I think that covers all the options. My name is Neil Studd. In the podcast world, you probably know me as being the host of Testers Island Discs, where two of the peers have appeared previously. You may also find me not on Twitter. I've done what I assume is called a Twexit. I have left the platform. You can still find me on LinkedIn, and I'm still trying to work out where else I might advertise myself over time. My favourite festive song, traditionally it was always Fairy Tale of New York, but today it stirs up questions around the lyrics and who plays them and what they mean and where you do it, so I tend to swerve away from that these days. One I would like to highlight for listeners is a great song by a band called the Lancashire Hot Pots, who are from St Helens. It's a song called The Trafford Centre, and it's set to the tune of Mull of Kintyre, which was the 1977 Christmas #1 in the UK. And it's all about doing desperate last-minute shopping at the Trafford Centre and just trying to see what shops have got a lot left in stock. And it really encapsulates the panic that sets in for myself at this time of year. In terms of my festive wish for 2023 in the world of testing, what I would really like to see, that I'm pinching from LinkedIn that I saw the other day, is just the idea of communities starting to come together a bit more. We have a lot of really excellent communities in the testing world, but they tend to work either in isolation or, if not in opposition to one another, then at least, finger pointing and saying, well, that's what this tribe is saying, and I wish that they wouldn't say that because I think this different way. And I think the more that you can begin to smash those groups together and realise what people have in common and start to find common ground, I think we can push the craft forward more than acting in opposition all the time. It's just nice to be nice to people, particularly at this time of year. Thank you very much, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye.
So there are some song lyrics that I'd like to share with you.
Oh boy.
Chris is going to read.
Chris's Christmas cracker.
Is this under 5 minutes? Can I just ask that?
So I watched the movie Spirited, starring Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and quite frankly, I expected it to be kind of trash because it was Apple TV Plus stuff. But there's a song which is in the closing credits that's called Ripple. It's got nothing to do with a Galaxy chocolate bar. He talks about taking opportunities, trying things. They say, what about the risk? He says, well, what about the opportunities? If you want to make a ripple, that's how you make a wave. And it's about taking small chances on things to try and improve things. And much to Russell's point earlier, if you don't try, you don't get there. And so one of the lyrics just says, maybe more than just ripple, make a choice to take the chance then it says, let's put on our big boy pants, which doesn't rhyme if you say chance. But it's about going through and just seeing where things go. Maybe 2023 is the year that we take a bit more of a chance on something, maybe a bit bolder, and together we can do something that we've always wanted to try and do, just to see how far the ripples go.
Watch this space. Next December, when we do our Christmas special, we'll be able to talk about what chance we took, how we moved forward from that. I think there's lots of options for us to move forward to, but yes, it's all.
Are we going to YouTube? Is that all this is about?
Yeah. We're going to tie ourselves to Spotify and only do episodes on Spotify. I'm not sure I like the idea of YouTube, to be honest. I like
Just joking.
People don't see our faces all the time.
And on that note, so thank you again for collaborating with everyone. And please do reach out on all the channels. They are LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please reach out to us, look us up. We are the Testing Peers. Also, if you want to help us out with the cost of this, then we do have a Patreon page. Please look out for that as well. Thank you again for Saffron QA. Thank you for the extra collaborators that have helped us through the episodes of the year and also in today's episode as well. It's been great to have you on board and for your messages that are part of this. And I hope that the rest of the testing community really take notice of those people that have helped us out with that. So that leaves us to say thank you very much for listening for another year, and we very much appreciate any of the feedback that we get. It's always been really good to hear from you, and we'll hope for more next year.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Bah humbug.